So, how to create harmonics? Breathing. First, in order to create harmonics, like I said earlier, you need to be able to sustain the sound long enough for the harmonics to have a chance to grow and expand. So it's very important to know how to take a deep breath. And the best way to do that is to use your body's way of getting the most air the quickest, and that's a yawn. So to simulate a yawn, what you're going to do is open up your mouth nice and wide, and the back of your lower the back of your tongue in your throat. So you've got this big wide hole in the back of your throat, and then you just take a quick breath in, and you can get lots of air quickly that way into your lungs. Now also, in terms of diaphragmatic breathing, as you inhale, your abdomen should expand. Lots of people do that backwards. As you inhale, your abdomen should expand. As you exhale, your abdomen should contract. And that is because as you are inhaling, if you're taking a deep enough breath to actually engage the diaphragm, which is a muscle that looks like an upside-down salad bowl, and it's underneath your lungs and on top of your intestines. So as you inhale, and your stomach should expand, and that means the upside-down salad bowl is sort of flattening out and pushing down, pushing your intestines down, so that your lungs have room to expand down and get more air way down on the bottom of the lungs. Most people just take very short chest breaths and never activate the diaphragm. But in order to do this work, you have to be able to sustain the sound. And as a horn player, my living depended on how many notes I could play in one breath. And I had to predictably play all those notes in that breath every time I played that phrase. So my job and my paycheck depended on how deep a breath I could take and how I could manage the breathing with the diaphragm. That's the other thing. If you engage the diaphragm and you take a deep breath, you can now use the diaphragm to control the speed of how you exhale. You can exhale quickly or slowly, but you can control it because you've engaged the diaphragm. If you're just taking short chest breaths, you can't engage the diaphragm, and you really have no control over how fast or slow you can get the air out of your lungs. So as you breathe, your diaphragm should expand. Your shoulders should not move at all. There's very little lung capacity in the top of your lungs. So what you want to do is maximize the lower part of your lungs, take that deep breath, have your diaphragm contract down, fill all the lungs up with air way down to the lower part of the lungs, and now you can control how you extract that air from your lungs with your diaphragm. If any of you are practicing that now, that would be good. And if you have any questions about it, come into the chat here and ask a question about it. Someone is saying, how do we use what you are teaching? Specifically, I'm not musically trained. I channel multidimensional source frequencies with my toning. Many think I'm using an instrument, but I do not. How do we use what we're going to use these harmonics to help balance our voice prints, help balance our sort of sonic energy of our body. And we're going to use Sherry Edwards software, the free Nano Voice software, to find what's out of balance, and then we're going to use these harmonics to rebalance them. From Mark, says, I do diaphragmatic breathing when I do my toning. Wonderful. Like a Father's Day gift. Thank you, gosh. You're welcome. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Keep up the good work. All right, so to create harmonics using your voice, this is a pretty easy way to do it. We're going to pick a comfortable pitch in the middle of our vocal range. So that's going to be a different pitch for all of us, and that's fine. We're going to take a deep breath, again, a really deep yawn breath so we can engage the diaphragm. And we're going to hum and sustain the pitch as long as you can. So that would just sound something like this. I could go on, but I don't want to bore you. So you need to be able to at least sustain a hum for that long if you want these harmonics to grow. So the best way to do it now is to plug your ears, take another deep breath, and while you're humming, slowly arch the middle of your tongue up and down in your mouth. Now, we always get lots of questions about this. The placement of the tongue should be like this. The tip of your tongue should be anchored behind your lower front teeth. Anchor the tip of your tongue behind your lower front teeth. And then you're going to arch the middle of your tongue up and down, which is effectively going to change the opening in your oral cavity and make it smaller or bigger, depending on where your tongue is, which is going to create different harmonics going up into your oral cavity and your sinuses and up into your brain. And with your ears plugged, you're going to hear it hopefully a lot better. So take the deep breath, and then we're going to hum a note, and we're going to move the tongue up and down. Let's just try that. It's going to sound like this. And then, that feels really good. You should definitely all be trying this because your brain is floating around in all that synovial fluid. And when you're making these vibrations up there in your sinus area and in your mouth, and a hum, stays inside your head, your brain's floating in all that happy vibration. And it really gives you a lot of energy. Now, another way that you can create a harmonic with your voice is by changing the vowel sound, which again is changing where your tongue is going in the mouth. But if you start on the vowel E and slowly adjust your lips to create the vowel oo, as in you, and then slowly move back to the vowel E, you'll hear a lot of harmonics being created also. And that would sound like this. Again, the fundamental is that sustained note that you're hearing. That's the loudest note. And then the really soft vibrations that are moving up and down on top of it as you go from E to oo are your harmonics.